Peacemaker has returned for episode 2 here in season 2. And y'all, it is not got any tamer. It is only got crazier. So stay tuned after the intro. We're gonna talk about it right here.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Collard Greens TV, your favorite podcast where two nerds gather and talk about our favorite stuff. I am your host, King, and the greatest co-host in the world, JC3, is with us today. And today we're going to be talking about episode 2 of Peacemaker. Before we dive too deep into this conversation, I do want to put out a spoiler warning right now. We're going to be talking about spoilers all throughout this review, and also this is a mature content conversation. If you have little ones in the room, you might want to watch this later. So I wanted to get those things out just so people knew what they were getting into. If you like the content that we make here, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, follow us along. We really appreciate it. Each little follow means the world to us. It's 2 seconds for y'all. So do us a favor, go down, drop us a follow, drop us a like, and let's get into it. So let's talk about the first episode, or the second episode, excuse me, and let's talk about the plot and what we thought of that. What'd you think, Jay, of the plot for episode 2?
I thought the plot was pretty solid. This episode was we're pretty much sitting in what happened in episode 1. We pick up right where we left off with Chris, aka Peacemaker, realizing that he just killed another version of himself from another universe. And a lot of this episode is him just trying to really process that, register that. And we also see how he's emotionally dealing with it, because we're also seeing how we're seeing how that Chris's life from the other universe, how good that life was compared to how our universe, Chris Peacemaker, is not doing too well. We also get to catch up with Lee and her ex. We get a nice little scene with them, seeing, really reminding us of why they split and why they're currently not together. We're introduced to Agent Flurry, played by Tim Meadows, I believe, a legendary actor who teams up with Economos, or is pretty much assigned to look over him while while Economos monitors Chris and whatever's going on in his house. I think that Agent Flurry is hilarious. Just his dry comedy and his back and forth with Economos, aka Ginger Cool. I think I always want to call him that from now on, Ginger Cool. I like their dynamic. I like how they bounce off each other. You could tell that Economos is very annoyed by Flurry, but I'm taking a liking to him already. He's pretty good. And we also get to see Amelia, what she's gone through after that bar fight. Pretty much just, again, sitting in the fact that she has a lot of issues that she's dealing with, that she refuses to deal with, and she refuses to talk to anybody about it. So we're with this group, and just seeing, where they're at right now currently in their emotions. And another character that returns to the group is Adrian Chase, Peacemaker's weird buddy. Very weird buddy, but he brings a lot of comedy to the show, and we are also seeing we see what happens when you have to dispose of a body. That was a nice little bit of the episode as well. But I enjoyed it, man. It was pretty solid entry. What do you think?
I really enjoyed the episode. And the reason being is because, like you had mentioned, it really is a follow-up to the first episode, right? It's really answering some of the questions or the fallout to what happened in the first episode. How is Chris dealing with the idea that he inadvertently killed another one of himself in a universe? And when that happens, like you had mentioned, the phone drops out of his pocket, and you kind of realize that universe, Chris 2, is kind of living a better life than I think our Chris or our Peacemaker thinks. So it starts that question of, is the grass greener on the other side? I had so much fun with some of the characters. What was the guy's name that came in to watch over what's his name in the van?
Agent Flurry.
Agent Flurry, dude, he easily is the best part of that episode. He is hilarious. The back and forth between them is, I mean, it's incredible. Like it's incredibly hilarious. And like you said, he's kind of deadpan. It's kind of like a serious tone, but he keeps ripping these jokes. It's dope. And to kind of follow up with Adebayo's life, I'm using her last name, but like seeing what happens afterwards, trying to go pick some stuff up, even though she only needed some elbow cream, like she couldn't get that from CVS, you know,
Right.
um, to see her and the family dynamic with her and her girl and them kind of arguing, but them both being still very interested in what each other's doing. Thought that was great. I thought it was a really good representation of like what's setting up what's going forward. We got to see Rick Flag Sr. get his job, his new post, asking questions about Peacemaker. And it's very obvious that he doesn't really care about doing anything else at Argus, but dealing with Peacemaker at this point. So I mean, some huge setups. Peacemaker's got the goofiest, craziest best friend, and I'm gonna leave some of my comments to the next portion of this about kind of their dynamic. But let's move in. Let's move over to the next part, and let me ask you, what were some of your favorite or slash craziest or funniest moments throughout this episode?
I would say one of my favorite parts of this episode was the beginning when we see Rick Flag Sr. and we see again that he's the new director of Argus, replacing Amanda Waller. uh I like when we connect, like because we see Rick Flag Sr. looking through the paperwork, the files that he wasn't allowed to see before he was the director, and he finds out the details of how his son got killed by Peacemaker. And just seeing just those flashbacks and getting that reminder, it just felt good to be like, yeah, technically, like that first Suicide Squad movie with James Gunn was the start of this new universe. So like just that being added into it, I really did enjoy that. Um, I would probably have to say my other funny scene, like a funny scene that I really enjoyed was when Adrian Chase shows up and he comes into Chris's house and sees that all those people from that orgy in the past episode are still there,
I was gonna
and
say that.
it's it's such a weird they have a weird friendship just because like apparently he doesn't like sex, or he apparently no he likes sex, but not for the reasons that normal people like sex. He finds it as like a bonding experience
With his buddy.
for with his buddy. And I want to say to you, bro, like right here on the channel, I got love for you, but I don't. Well, nah, we did no bonding like that. We keep it simple, keep it simple with it. Nah, nah, no, no, it's cool.
We will
But
never bond in that way.
no, never. Uh, but that was a funny moment. Also, the whole dismembering of the other Chris's body from the other universe. That scene was just that was ridiculous, but it was meant to be ridiculous just because like it's just a reminder that this show is brutal. This show is very gory. And I like that because, in this universe, we can go over to Superman, who's lighthearted and, barely any blood at all. But then we can come over to Peacemaker's world and get all the raunchiness that we need. So I really did enjoy that. I'd say favorite scene. You say that Flurry was the best part of this episode. I would kindly have to disagree. I'll have to say the standout thing character in this episode was definitely Eagly.
Yeah.
They have made they have made Eagly his own character. This bird doesn't play. You break into his house, he will tear you up, and that's exactly what he did to Flurry's crew. I can't even go over all the nicknames that Flurry gave his crew. Maybe you can do that. But man, like that whole scene was brutal, also funny. Uh, Also, we learned about a new thing called bird blindness. Apparently he doesn't know how to shoot a big ass bird that's right in front of him. But hey, that's it. That's not a here or there. What you think, man? Or your favorite parts?
Oh man, I have so much to piggyback off of. One, you stole some of my favorite moments that I was going to
Sorry.
mention. Eagly, Eagly is y'all. He's underplaying. Eagly kills like 6 people easily, like with ease. You know what I mean? Like he's essentially playing with the main dude. Like he killed everyone, and it wasn't a hard thing for him. And then they give him this badass walk away moment, and he flies off. It is pretty unnecessarily badass for a fake eagle. And then for oh boy to have to bird blindness, bro, that is hilarious, dude. He can't tell the difference between a hummingbird, a pigeon, nor a 3 foot tall eagle. He can't see it. He just doesn't know the difference. Can't see it. Doesn't know what to do. Perfect, bro. The moment when Chris and his friend go back into the house, bro, the conversation that they have where he's just like, "Man, you didn't invite me," and he's like, "Dude, you don't like sex," and he's like, "Yeah, I don't," but like I just want to be here with my friend. It's a great bonding experience with me and my friend. Wild, bro. Wild work, y'all. This is wild work. There's a moment in the beginning when the scene first starts and Chris goes outside to pick up his newspaper and walks back in the house. One of the people who were participating in the orgy just wakes up, looks at him, and says, "Let me get some of that." And then Peacemaker pauses and he goes, "Oh, the coffee." Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. And then there's a moment where the dude Frost, whatever his name is, oh boy, he in there and he's like, "What was you doing back in the day? I had 2 women sucking my, you know what I mean? What was you doing?" I mean, yo, like you said, Peacemaker is picking up for every single bit of the raunchiness that could have ever been in Superman. They have picked it all up. It is wild what's happening in the show. The amount of nudity, the amount of drugs and sex and rock and roll. It's it's crazy. I did enjoy the scene of them all being together on the rooftop drinking and like to see the gang back together. And they brought all the tension down to kind of a moment where Peacemaker is kind of realizing from looking in the other guy's phone that in that universe, he's madly in love. And in this universe, she doesn't love him. She's a drunk mess, like he's a drunk mess. And they're having a discussion more or less about who's more fucked up. You know what I mean? And it was kind of a such a solemn moment that kind of brings it all down. And he kind of decides to go back into that universe and text her, but different universe her. I think all in all, it was a fun ass show. It definitely feels like episode 1.5, you know what I mean? Kind of like really following up on the first episode and laying the seeds of what's to come. So, I guess before we get out of here today, I want to do a good question for both of us. Um, what do you think's going to happen next, and how would you rate this episode from 1 to 10?
What happens next? I think that Chris will decide to stay in the universe that he's stay in the universe that he just went into, where he has the better life, and he's gonna ride it out and see what he can get from it. Um, I imagine seeing a good relationship with his father and his brother. Maybe we'll see a team up, of them going up against some baddies or something like that. That might be nice to see. I'm also just I'm really curious to see where this story with Flag Senior goes. I want to see how far he's willing to go to catch Peacemaker for the death of his son. That to me is like the most important story, like story arc of this whole entire season. It's just where that's going to go because we see based off Creature Commandos even that he's still really hurt. Off that loss. I mean, why wouldn't it be? It's his son, but he's just he doesn't like that things are unsolved and unsettled in his eyes. So he's gonna go after it, man, and I can't wait to see it. As far as the rating for this episode, I give it a solid 7 out of 10. Again, like we progressed the plot forward a little bit, but not necessarily too much. We placed more pieces on the board. We've added more things to the story, and we're cooking, man. And right now, I'm enjoying the meal so far. But what about you?
I think where we're going to start off, I agree 100% with you. I think Peacemaker is going to stay in the second universe. I'm pretty sure the whole episode's probably going to be, in the next universe. I think he's going to spend maybe like 2 episodes or so over there and then kind of start to realize that the grass is not greener on the other side, or there's so many things about that second universe that he loves, but so many things that might be off that we haven't yet seen, because clearly it looks, the assumption is that in that universe he's a big hero like Batman, Superman, or people like that. So I'm really curious to see where that story is going to go. And just like you, man, I'm wondering what is the overarching story that they're going to tell with Rick Flag Sr., and how will they kind of button up that story? And is that the biggest part, or is that small potatoes to the kind of multiverse thing that's kind of going on right now? So I'm very curious. I think we, like you said, I think we have a lot of room to go. I think they're setting up the right beats for the rest of the season. I believe we have 10 episodes, so we should have a pretty fun ride. And if we're starting off with the first 2 episodes like this, I can't imagine what the finale is going to look like. You know what I mean? It's going to be crazy if the first 2 episodes are crazy. So I also going to agree with you. I think this is about a 7. I think it did enough to progress the story and gave you enough to kind of, chew on, but not so much, that we can go an hour or so just kind of discussing it. So I'm excited for the next episode. And I'd like all of the listeners and followers to go down in the comments and tell us what you thought. What's your synopsis of the show so far? What direction you guys think it's going in? We'd love to see your comments, and we'd love to see what you guys think. And we love it when you guys interact. So we appreciate you guys so much for always tuning in, and we'll be back with another one here soon. And for me, we're going to let Jay close this bad boy out. But for me, I appreciate y'all and thank you. Jay.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Oh, yeah, by the way, just for our listeners, in case any of you are wondering, bird blindness isn't real. It's not real. It's not a real thing. So don't think that it is. Just a nice little bit in the show. Figured I'd add that in there. Honestly, again, I am very pleased with where we are right now, and I can't wait to see where this show takes us. But a question that I have for the audience: will that alien that keeps popping in through that door ever say hi to Chris? I don't think so. Apparently, he doesn't either. But hey, we'll see. Thank you for all the love and support. Please comment, share, subscribe. As always, stay nerdy, my friends.